Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's virtual session. We're just going to give folks a few more minutes to join. All right, we have a good amount of people on. Do you want to get started, Stig?
Yes, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, to our first virtual Rev session on solving expert problems with natural language processing algorithms in insurance. Today, we have Stig Pedersen from Topdanmark, one of Europe's top insurance companies, on the line, and he'll be presenting today's session. We are recording. We will share the recording with everyone after today's program. And we would welcome folks to submit any questions or comments that you have into the Q&A box that you should see at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and get started, Stig.
Yes, thank you, and welcome to this webinar. I've been looking forward to present some of our work at Topdanmark Insurance and using algorithms in our daily work. So, and thank you for inviting me also to Domino Data Lab, who's arranging and facilitating this session. I just need to. Sorry, it seems that my slides are not shared. Can you see the first slide, Karina?
Yep, they're shared. I think you should be good.
Yeah, okay. So Karina just made the session introduction. I'm presenting as Topdanmark's head of machine learning, and we will talk about some of the practical use cases we have and are using for machine learning for. First of all, I think just for a general introduction, in Topdanmark, we focus on developing algorithms that automate or augment decision making in real time. Usually it's a combination, partial automation and then augmentation for further human interaction. And these are just 4 examples of the types of work we are doing and we have created algorithms for, just to show you that it has a very practical use for at least in insurance. To the left, you see what customers should we offer a change of home ownership insurance. I'll get into much more detail with that, as this is the chosen case for today. We also have an algorithm that assesses which auto claims do we agree with the repair shop's estimates, and then fully automate the decision as to approve payment or not. And also we have an algorithm based on aerial photos that detects buildings from aerial photos and compare this with our own registrations. And why should this be interesting? For Topdanmark Insurance, we insure 50% of all agricultural buildings in Denmark. So we like to be updated with the state of buildings in our portfolio. And also, as you see to the right, we also have, of course, algorithms that are looking for very unusual patterns in claims and other cases, and they will be forwarded to experts to deep dive into whether what the reason for this unusual pattern should be. So this is just some examples of what we are using machine learning for. I would like today to just give you a short impression of how we have built an algorithm for automation of change of home ownership. This is an insurance that has a much important especially people who are selling homes and buying homes, in that they should feel secured that whatever comes up, we insure for them if possible. And usually, historically, we have thought of this as, and we have used experts in building construction, building engineers, or legal experts to make this assessment until now. And now we have created an algorithm that can automate a large part of this work. So I just want to tell you what is actually the problem the algorithm is solving. What we get is when we need to decide whether we will take in the risk or insure a home, we get 2 external reports from certified building assessors. That is one, a report on the construction of the roof, etc., and also one of the electrical installations. From this, they must report any visible damage to the home or house, or any illegal electrical installations that you can visibly see. But what the problem is, and what our expert assessors does and this algorithm does, is you need to estimate what are the potential hidden damage in a house based on the conditions that you're informed with. And this is the problem we are solving with this algorithm. Also, in order to understand this, I would show you just how the process is. What you do is you have a potential customer. They forward these 2 certified reports to a sales agent, and then we have and I like this process too, because this is the only process where we have an RPA agent involved. It extracts from emails these reports, make pre-registrations in our core insurance systems, and forwards these reports to our data lake execution and storage environments. Then it requests an assessment of the reports from our algorithm. And before this, there is a text extraction and anonymization of these reports before they're forwarded to the machine learning environment. And then, I hope this continues, the model decision request is forwarded. And as you can see on the right side, we retrieve these anonymized text documents into a machine learning framework, which is based on Domino data lab. And from there on, we extract multiple layers of features from these documents, and then run the model prediction, should we offer insurance or not. And then the algorithm returns this answer to the robot, that then executes whatever it needs to do in our systems, and forwards this to our sales agents, that then can present the answer to our potential customer. And what we find is that this algorithm says it can offer insurance, it can offer an insurance on specific conditions that exempt sense. And then, of course, it can say, no, we will not insure this home. But what we find is that the business is very happy with this, but customers, even those who are rejected from being offered an insurance, are usually quite happy with receiving a reply right away. So the power of machines is also what most humans like, to get a clear answer right away. Will you insure me or not? You don't have to wait for days to get this answer. So this is the process that we have automated, and we use Domino Data Lab as our framework for developing and also exposing our algorithms as services, and then they are, as you can see, called via our data lake environment, and then exposed in some kind of system. And this, in this case, is an agent, RPA agent, but it will usually be production systems. And yeah, so this is the problem we solved, and what is the value of this? You could say, in general, what is the effect? The machine learning model delivers consistent decisions. Even though experts, we as humans and as specialized experts, are very good at our job, we do overlook important features sometimes. You get interrupted, you have to go to a meeting, you need to deliver an answer, and machines don't do this. And then also what we reached is an automation, a percentage of 65%. And when we initially started out on this, our data scientists estimated that we could reach between 30 to 50% automation. So even our data scientists were surprised how fast we could, or how far we could move or push this automation level. Our data scientists don't care much about how fast machines are, but I and most business people also like to hear, well, what is it compared to a human? And the assessment of these two reports are approximately 10 pages each in average. Takes about 1.5 seconds in an algorithm that is trained. And our human experts will spend on average 20 minutes in these reports. So it's a very fast machine. The total handling, of course, of the RPA and everything is about 5 minutes, but it's still a giant leaps from our past fully almost analog process. And yeah, and so for our expert assessors, this is also good because they know that when they actually receive a report that they need to assess, they also know that the algorithm is unclear in its answers. So there is something unique with these reports that they need to dive into. So actually also human as expert resources are very fond of having this. You know, as a human, that when something comes to you, you need to use your expert skills. And also this, we spent some years developing this, but this is all the learning we have achieved from this natural language processing algorithm. We can bring with us onward to other areas where we need to use natural language processing within machine learning. So yeah, but also I would like to show you some of our technology stack. And usually, these are, if you are already in machine learning and using and developing algorithms yourself, all these tools and frameworks will be very familiar to you. So there's nothing surprising here. You should be familiar with all these things. Maybe I should add that you could see the core platform. Of course, this will differ from corporations. We use Amazon Web Services as our data storage and execution for data storage and execution, but we use and Domino Data Lab as our machine learning framework. But as you see on the right side, I've also added Domino in the monitoring box, and this is a fairly new feature that Domino is releasing very shortly, and we've been beta testing this for some months now. And what we find is that once you have algorithms in real-time production, you need to actually spend a lot of time on overseeing and checking their performance. And we would like our data scientists to primarily focus on developing algorithms and new models. And but we need to do this because the machines are very fast and they have a financial impact if they are drifting. So this model monitor we've been testing, and we're looking forward to the full production implementation of it very shortly. But we need to secure that data is not drifting in our models, that our predictions are as expected, and we don't have to spend a lot of time overseeing this by manually. So this is, yeah, so this is really just highlights of how we think and how we work, and why we spend and invest in Topdanmark Insurance on creating machine learning models. And I think that is actually it. So that was the formal presentation, but you are free to ask questions, and also Karina, maybe you will help facilitating that, and you can, sure. Yeah, and I will try to answer them as good as I can. If it's not yeah, if I can.
Thank you, Stig.
Thank you.
We have had a few questions come in so far. How did you decide what use cases to start your machine learning journey with?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, I started, I think 5-6 years ago. I was very much involved in our process automation work in Topdanmark. And what I found is that we could only automate on logical machines to a certain level. There was a lot of work our employees did that could be executed by either IT systems or RPA bots. But and actually the case I just showed you was the first use case we embarked on, because we had this bot, but I could see that if we should move to the next level of automation, we needed some smart machines that could actually handle unstructured data and give predictions as to the probability of what are similar to human experts. And so I contacted our director of statistics, because I know and I knew that he has very advanced data analytics people in his team. And we started building from our in-house experts, and then also employing experts from outside to start building these models. So actually we couldn't push automation further unless we went into advanced machine learning models. So that is the curious thing, but also sometimes it helps that you have a machine that you know the limit for logical programming is you can only get so far, and then you can actually identify what parts of the process are so complex that you need more advanced machines. That's sounds simple, but that's how it started.
Thank you. And how did you justify your machine learning investments, both the people and the technology, to your business?
I think we made this proof of concept on this natural language processing algorithm, and within 10 days, usually you can actually make it. I mean, if you have data available, as we have on these problems, you can actually, within 10, 12 weeks, you can actually make a proof that if you spend the time and money, you can create this model. And once we had this proof of concept on the natural language processing, we also made a proof of concept on image analysis of auto claims, damages of autos, and we also proved that the level of science was had now come so far that it was feasible to actually start also developing in the area of image analysis. Yeah, I don't know if that answered the question, but I hope it did. So, and when the CXO saw this, saw these proofs, they said, "Go ahead. We want this established as a permanent knowledge base and skills based in our own company," and we started building our machine learning unit from there. So the funding has never been a problem. Usually, for most corporations, when the top management wants something, they usually also give you the funding.
Did you have to quantify like the return that the algorithms you were building were going to deliver to the business at all?
Yes, sure, but it's like we cannot prove what will the total potential of machine learning in insurance be, or in Topdanmark be, but we can prove from each case what the potential will be. We can assess that fairly fast. And then it may take a year or two to build the model in production and productionize it. But we can say if you automate 65%, you can quantify the value of that. We have another algorithm that automates 20% of a much larger volume. You can quantify the value for each model, but I mean, we don't have the answer to what is the full potential of machine learning in Topdanmark. I think it's immense, but we can't prove it yet.
Got it. Well, I think one argument you can make is that your data scientists, by building these models, they have the bandwidth to tackle new problems. Do you have examples of like problems that they're able to solve now that they have the bandwidth for that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do?
Yes, I mean, yeah, there are multiple. I mean, first of all, machine learning, the breakthrough in machine learning is that you can actually handle natural language. And also you can handle images. I mean, in insurance, we've been building data modeling and advanced data analytics for many for many decades with actuarians and decisions. But now we could move into a new, from structured data to push it forward to a new level. And often actually our models are based on metadata, structured data, and unstructured data. But the new thing is that you can break into where words are dominant or where images are present. I think that's nothing new, but it's new in insurance that we can do it, and we've proven it.
Got it. What level of explainability of the results do you have?
Well, that's a very good question, also slightly tricky because, I mean, I think it is hard for non-experts to actually understand how you can't really explain how, I mean, you need to be an expert to understand how an algorithm is built. But what you can explain is the outcome, and you can explain and show the precision and accuracy of these models on the specific processes that they are automating. And this business people and most non-experts will understand. But as to explainability for outsiders, for customers, I think anyone that is working in this area, there will be some years where this will be an area that is developing. It's hard to explain a model with 600 plus or 10,000 parameters to people who are not data analytics. How possibly an algorithm could say yes or no to me. So I think it's an area that will develop.
Yeah. How do you deal with any ethical issues?
I think we saw, even from a scientific data science aspect, very fast, and also our compliance lawyers were kind to remind us that if we didn't have any ethical principles to work from, then it could be an image issue for Topdanmark Insurance. So actually, we worked with our lawyers and our team and we were the first insurance company in Denmark that published our ethical guidelines for use of artificial intelligence, and in order to secure trust with our customers and investors and everyone. And they are published in February 2019. But I think it's a very good question. And this area too will develop over the years. I mean, what kind of ethics standards are needed, and also, yeah. But we are trying, and we have principles for this.
Cool. How exactly do you use Domino for monitoring of your models?
Well, for the monitoring, we have more monitoring tools than just Domino model monitoring. Model monitoring with Domino is more like if there's a drift in the expected predictions of our models. Once we have created a model, the business approves a certain level of automation, and we need to keep an eye on this level if it's not drifting, and also we need to see if the data input is not somehow affecting the results. So until now, until the beta testing that we have with the Domino monitoring, we have done this manually, and it's very time consuming. You need to be sure that the data you're fed are the correct data of the latest version and everything, because everything is happening in real time. But yes, that's my best answer for now.
Okay. What are all the data sources that you use for model development?
Oh, I mean, they can be that depends on the problem, of course. Usually, we of course, automating primarily existing processes. So we use data sources. We actually talk with the business. They show us what kind of documents they use, what kind of input they have, what kind of other information they collect in order to make a decision. And from there on, we start collecting these data. And this can be any kind. It could be any kind of images combined with metadata, combined with public data, combined with, I mean, the sources are, but they are specific to each problem. They're related to each problem that we're trying to solve, of course.
Yes. Can you explain how in the new machine learning process you were able to better detect hidden issues in buildings that you couldn't do in the original process? And was it that you were using new data sources that experts were not using before?
No, I mean, the power of machine learning, I think, is that you actually collect 5 or 10 years of history, depending on how much is relevant. And then you actually start training the machines, finding patterns for rejecting or accepting by human experts. So we just train it up against human assessments. But then, so there are no new data sources, no. We just train, but usually even an expert, a group of experts, 5 or 10 experts sitting doing the same job, they do it slightly differently. And what we found is that our data scientists also tested, actually asked the business, our model keeps coming up with a rejection of these houses. Can you please, if you look at them again, say to us why you accepted this risk? And mostly they say this we wouldn't accept today, or we would have rejected if we'd seen it again. So this is how we train it against human historic decisions, and with, of course, sufficient data to do this.
Thank you. We'll probably do maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Do you have plans for growing the number of data scientists at Topdanmark? And is the number of tasks, or I would imagine data science projects, growing as a consequence of your success?
Yes, that's the curious thing, is that our first models and algorithms were actually initiated by me and the director of statistics, because we knew that these were valuable processes that were important to look at. And also we aligned with the director of claims before we started embarking on this. But I think what we see now is that as more models come in production, and also the business lines see what you actually can achieve with algorithms, we experience that more requests for algorithms are coming in. Whether we will scale them, I mean, data scientists are rare people, you could say. So it's not something you just scale up with. But we scale as long as, I mean, we have this team of experts in natural language and image analysis, and then we will scale gradually with the push from the business lines to have us develop more algorithms.
Okay, maybe we can try 1 more question. Do you also use external partners or startups providing you with technical capabilities for NLP?
No, we started the first proof of concept. We started up with a team from an external consulting company named Deloitte Consulting. I think they're known in the States too. And they had specifically one very highly skilled PhD in physics. And he, together with our domains experts, actually created the first proof of concept, very convincing. But our principles are always to have our own skills in-house. So we have not embarked with any external partners or startups on this journey since the first 3 months or 4 months.
Okay. Actually, I guess we didn't start until 9:30, so we probably can do a couple more questions if you have some time. Yeah, we do have some more time. how do you guarantee that the automated cases are correctly automated? How do you guarantee that the machine learning system is not making errors?
Well, this is curious. I mean, machine learning is really just, I would say, to put it simply, advanced statistics. So it's just, I mean, statistics are just, it's probably, so it may make errors. I mean, so we calculate also what are the, what a business person would call errors in a machine, and we also tell them the rate of this, so we accept that the machines may be wrong sometimes, but they are mostly more right than humans, and we can also prove this mathematically. So this is how we do it. So yeah, this is the curious thing with algorithms. It's statistics really. It's probabilities.
How do you choose requests or contracts that need to be rechecked by a human? I guess that's kind of a related question.
Yeah, but usually, I mean, I think this model has, like, I think it's plus 600 parameters. So to a data scientist, this may not sound much, but still it's a lot to keep track on. But it is against statistics if it's uncertain in its prediction. So it's not a clear yes or not a clear no, then it's forwarded to humans. So 35% is like, if you could say, the top yes and the top button we handle with the machine, but in the middle there is like a blur of 35% that we actually forward to humans. But of course we use their input, we track their decisions, and eventually gradually we'll retrain the algorithm, and it will improve gradually. But actually we have stopped improving this algorithm because we think we need human experts in the loop. And this is also a paradox, that maybe our data scientists could push the automation degree to 80 or something, but the value of having human experts interfering and interacting with cases that are unusual or difficult is actually also important. I think we would be late in detecting a change in a building construction types or whatever, where humans would right away detect this is a new way of constructing a roof or whatever. We would only gradually adapt to this. So I think you should keep, that's at least our thoughts, that we want to keep human experts and machines working together, and not just trying to automate everything. That's my best answer.
Okay. Well, we are at the top of the hour, so I think it's probably about time for us to wrap up. There were a few more questions that I'll send over to you, Stig, via email, and we will share the recording from this session with everyone afterwards. Thank you so much, Stig. Any parting thoughts?
No, I'm just pleased that I can see that you have forwarded questions, and I think they are relevant and also fairly hard to answer. So thank you so much for attending, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.